great game, Florida Panthers, but if ever there were a time that it is most important to hold to the no takeaways rule, it is now, after there is a 6-1 shit kicking. But let's begin with game 3. Absolutely crazy game. And I started to listen to 32 Thoughts this morning, and I had to pause it and turn it off and say, no. I had the same fucking idea, Elliot, and you're going to do it better than me and smarter than me and certainly more deliberate than me. So I don't want to do the same exact show. Elliot Friedman probably did a show where he had a lot more information from you, but we had similar thoughts. So I will.
You have 32?
Yes. I had 32 thoughts on this game, and I have a lot less hair as a result of it. But quick reads on this from you guys. You did unmitigated disaster. We do. I agree with that.
Yes, I said it last night, but it was by far, unequivocally, the Oilers' worst game of the playoffs.
Correct.
And they should be fucking embarrassed by the way that all went down from the start to the finish. All of it extremely embarrassing for the Oilers. But I'm doing the no takeaways thing. Like it doesn't have a ton of carryover for me because the Oilers have proven time and time again they are very capable of flushing horrible games and learning from them and being better off from them as a result. Am I confident that they're going to be coming out on the other side of this better for it? I'm not totally sure, but I'm not willing to write it off either.
Yes, apologies to the Florida Panthers that we are doing the no takeaways thing, but that's been our plan this whole series. And great game, Florida Panthers, but if ever there were a time that it is most important to hold to the no takeaways rule, it is now, after there is a 6-1 shit kicking. Sean?
I don't even, rule or no rule, it is I'm not forcing myself to not have a takeaway. That's just my honest reaction to what I've said. I think the absolute worst thing that could have happened to the Edmonton Oilers last night happened. That means nothing for me as far as how game 4 is going to go.
Okay, I have broken this game down into, as I am putting weight, as my tailor says, I've broken it into protein, carbs, and sweets, okay? And what made me turn off 32 Thoughts is he didn't use the same terminology, but Elliot off the top said, what a lot of people are going to want to focus on is what I am calling, DJ, I am calling the sweets. And he's like, that's not really what, if you're the Oilers, you should be worried about. So I'm going to break it down. The sweets, I'll say.
We're starting with sweets?
Do you want to go start sweets? Carbs are, we want to do protein?
I don't know. This is your meal, man.
Okay.
But if we're starting with sweets, that's
the protein of this is the Oilers took 4 bad first period penalties after giving up a fire drill goal 56 seconds into the game. They took 3 offensive zone penalties and a too many men penalty. That's all in the first period. After, as I said, fire drill goal, Stu Skinner goes to get a soda in the stands. I forget who he was following. Is it Lundell?
Lundell, yeah.
Yeah. He was like, where's that guy going?
It was a bad pinch.
I'm going with a bad pinch, as Pete said on the stream. That's a protein for me. That is what happened? Why did you lose that game? That's a start. You have a comment?
I have a comment, and it was another reference to last night's stream, which if you're not watching our watch-along streams, come join us on YouTube every game day. But my favorite part of last night was 5 minutes into the game. We were like, hey, the Oilers haven't committed an offensive zone penalty yet. And they committed 3 offensive zone penalties in the first period after that comment was made. That is stunning.
Sam Reinhart, a goal, an assist, 4 shots on goal, 3 blocked shots. Welcome to the series, Sam Reinhart. That, folks, is protein.
Juicy protein.
That is protein. The Oilers' power play is 1 for 6, which is 16.7% in each of the last 2 games. That is protein. The Oilers scored 1 goal in the game. That is protein. And Sergei Bobrovsky has a .937 save percentage over the last 2 games. Folks, that might give you gout.
Can I ask why it's 2 games and not 3 games?
Because he wasn't as good in game 1. He's been the better goalie in the last 2 games.
I agree. I agree that he wasn't as good.
And he's having a good series.
I agree that he wasn't as good in game 1 to the eye test, but the numbers were the exact same.
Really?
Yeah, he saved 42 out of 46 shots from both games.
Let's Okay, I'll take your word for it. But 937 save percentage over the last 2 games, and definitely I'm saying a 925 at least for the series. If I don't know, Sean, if you want to effort it. The Carbs. Edmonton gave Florida 11 power plays. That's a real thing. You got to not give a team 11 power plays. Is that happening all the time?
Definitely not.
No.
But you allowed Florida to score 3 power play goals
Yes.
in that game. And previously, heading into last night's game, they had won the entirety of the playoffs heading into last night at home.
Stuart Skinner got pulled after 5 goals and, have to note, a delay of game penalty. LOL.
That LOL is well deserved.
That's a carb, and Chris Knobloch cried about the officiating. Never rule out a coach crying about officiating in a series, because we have seen it can have an impact going forward.
For sure. And like, this is prime to be mocked. Like, your team lost 6-1. You looked horrible across the board in every facet of the game. But honestly, like, the one thing that Chris Knobloch can maybe get like a win from last night is by crying about officiating and changing maybe the way that officiating is done moving forward. Like, we've seen that happen.
Officiating last night was very terrible in favor of the Oilers it favored the Panthers when the game mattered. The Oilers played so poorly that I am grateful the officiating was bad, because they were going to lose whether the officiating was good or bad. At least now, one part of my brain gets to talk myself into, hey, what if they called Matthew Tkachuk running over Stuart Skinner? What if they called Sasha Barkov mauling I forget who before the 3rd goal? If there is any sort of change made in officiating due to Chris Knobloch crying, or due to all the stupid gooning it up, and we'll get to the sweets in just a minute, that theoretically could help Edmonton.
Theoretically.
Because if officials say, there's 2 things that are going to come after this game, which is a 2-day break and officials saying, cut the shit, we're going to start calling more stuff. If the Oilers are not stupid, both of those things favor them. So they can use those to their advantage. Will they? We shall see. The sweets. 140 penalty minutes in the game, 1 billion penalties in the 3rd period. Jonah Gadjevich stuck his tongue out at someone. What a legend. Game of his life. Amazing. Loved everything that he did. Fought Darnell Nurse. It was too long. Everyone loved that. I got a little bored by the end. Jake Wallman squirted his water bottle. Trent Frederick broke his stick cross-checking Sam Bennett. Someone threw ketchup on the ice, and someone, who we noted on the stream, Caucasian, dumped a beer on Kasperi Kapanen. I understand that all those things, especially for a show called What Chaos, should make the headlines. Those are maybe the most fun things we saw.
Definitely.
Those are the least likely things to carry over into the next game. And that is why when a lot of people's takeaway is like, the Panthers have done this, the Oilers have done this, the Oilers are now this, the Panthers are now this. I'm like, that is the stuff that is least likely to carry over. I think the stuff that Edmonton should be more worried is going to carry over is that save percentage of Sergei Bobrovsky's, is that power play percentage of theirs, is Sam Reinhart coming alive, is Brad Marchand continuing to be an absolute dog, is Edmonton coming out and playing stupid in the first couple of minutes. Like, those are things that I could see happening again if they're not careful. Being down 1 million goals and acting like absolute losers, teams do that. Like, Panthers do that.
Yeah, I think that's a totally fair assessment, honestly. And there's plenty of things to be concerned about, but acting like this whole thing is done and over because one game got swung heavily in one direction. Like, I know the series stands at a different point this year versus last year, but the Oilers won a game 8-1 last year. And yeah, they were down in the series, but like, they won a game 8-1 and nobody like overreacting was like, oh man, they have broken the Panthers.
There was a tweet going around last night that the team that blew out the other team and wins last Stanley Cup Final lost.
Mm-hmm.
It was a tweet from me. It got like 2 likes and then one person saying cry or something.
We all silly like the mayor.